Okay. And if people need to be served with Schoolfest, how do they sign up for that?
They don't sign up, they just show up.
All right, welcome back to Chief, Cap, and Chap. I'm Jason, the chaplain for Sikeston DPS, here with John Broom, our beloved captain. How you doing, John?
Doing good.
John is excited because he's driving the ship today.
Well, that's not what we agreed upon before we started
That's exactly
this, so
what we agreed upon. We had this conversation.
I think I'm the only one in the room that's got a gun on, so.
How do you know?
Well, that's true. I didn't check you at the door. So.
Mm-hmm. We're excited today because we have Tim Gilmore and Mariann Moyers with us. They're great community leaders, and so they're here to talk about all things Spread Hope Now and Schoolfest. And so thank you for being here. We're glad that you guys are a part of our Chief, Cap, and Chap podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Yeah, before we get started, I know we're going to talk a lot about the kind of how Spread Hope Now started and everything, but I want to personally thank you because I have truly seen firsthand the impact that you guys and your organizations had on the community, and it's been fantastic. I mean, from the warming shelter to offering a cool space in the summertime, this time of year, and Bulldog baseball camp, Schoolfest, which we'll talk about that too. The impact that you've had on your this community is probably not even measurable. So. Thank you from me, anyway.
Wow, thank you.
Mm-hmm, thank you.
Well, what you got?
You're going to make me do it, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start with introductions. And Mariann, we'll start with you. Kind of just introduce yourself and, who you are.
Okay. I am Mariann Moyers. I'm the director of Spread Hope Now. I've been doing that for about 10 years and love it a lot. I'm from Sikeston, moved away for a while and came back and raised my family here. And so some of our grandkids are here, and I love being in the community. I'm part of historic downtown Sikeston and love that too. So
It's a great organization.
it is.
I don't know about, do you run that?
Yeah,
No, I don't run it.
Okay.
I'm a part of the team.
Okay.
that's not what I heard.
Tim, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
And make sure you're talking into your mic real good, too.
I'm Tim Gilmore. I'm also from Sikeston, and actually, Mariann, her husband Mike, and I were all classmates at Sikeston High School. And I never would have imagined that we would be doing this today. I retired from practicing law back in 2015 and moved back to Sikeston and was kind of looking for things to do. And one day I saw Mike and Mariann doing this Spread Hope Now thing. And it took me about 6 months, but I came in and said, hey, can I help out? And the rest is history. That was, I guess that was 5 or 6 years ago. And what a wonderful journey it's been.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch Spread Hope Now kind of come about. And I remember conversations at the beginning. Mariann, tell us a little bit about the genesis of Spread Hope Now and how it got started. What compelled you to get that going?
I think it's a very unique story, and so I love to tell it. We started out as a ministry in a church, just a one-time ministry of collecting furniture for the local women's shelter here. And after a month, people kept giving. We didn't really know what to do with the items, and some people from our church, we just kind of put it in a storage unit, and as people would call, there wasn't really a formula or anything. We just would take it to people that needed it. And that just began to grow. It wasn't even something that we planned or tried to do. It just began to grow, and more people heard about it, and more people donated items. And then as school counselors and church secretaries and pastors heard about, there's this resource, then they started to call and say, how can we get people some help? And so one of our biggest goals, I think, was to connect all the resources in Sikeston, because there's so many nonprofits that are already doing good things, but also, we wanted to do things that were not being done somewhere else. And so it didn't seem smart to do something that somebody else was doing well. And so that furniture piece was huge. That was not something that some people were doing. And so it was a way for people to give and directly affect other people's lives. And then it was a way for people to receive very easily. And so that was the biggest part of Spread Hope. There were some events that started in the beginning. We had Radical Christmas, and we did some other events like Schoolfest. It used to be Hope Fest. And Spread Hope was born out of where the need is. So it's not ever what we can plan or think of. It's more we see a need here, and we know God's going to meet it. If we just step out in faith and use what he gives us, then we'll be able to make a difference in our community. And Sikeston's a very giving community, and people want to help. And so we were just fortunate to have a front row seat, we say. So
yeah. So when this, what year was that? Do you remember the year that it started?
We've been in existence for about 10 years. People were saying you should start a nonprofit, and we were saying, no, I don't want to do that. And somebody gave us their nonprofit, and I had never heard of anyone doing that before. And they said, you just change the name and you get rolling. So we had an attorney and an accountant and the paperwork, and we changed the name, and Spread Hope Now was born, and that was about 10 years ago.
Wow. And it started just, I think it's interesting. You said it started just as a furniture ministry. So what was the focus of the furniture ministry? Was it just for people who had house fires, or was it, I mean, what does furniture ministry look like, I guess, at the beginning?
Well, at first it was definitely for the House of Refuge and for women who were coming out of domestic abuse.
Okay.
But it began to expand because there were people who were coming out of homelessness and people who were having house fires. And so it just grew. And it started, as I said, it started with furniture, but then we added dishes and we added bath towels, and people would say, well, you take this. And we thought, why not? And so it just kept growing.
Yeah.
You know, I just had this conversation the other day with my daughter. We were driving around. Of course, she works for Children's Services now. And we were talking about Sikeston. And, of course, she works with a lot of people that are in different points of need in their life and things like that. And we were just talking about some of the services that were available in Sikeston in comparison to other communities. Mm-hmm. And Sikeston is extremely fortunate in exactly what you said. There are so many people in this town that do so many things to help others that it's pretty remarkable, actually. If you sit down and think about it, you know, it's pretty neat stuff. So a lot of caring folks in this town.
Yeah. So it started as furniture ministry, and then I mean, so being here and being in the community, you kind of watch this maturing, I would say, maybe that's not the word, growth of Spread Hope Now, where it's like the organization then feels called to take over or take on another responsibility, not just furniture ministry, but there's other things that Spread Hope Now does. And so talk about how that grew. You went from doing furniture ministry to, you know, things like the warming shelter and those types of things.
Yeah, those are great stories. And I'm kind of a planner. I'm a strategic planner. I have lots of planners, and so ordinarily I would think about, you know, what's the need and what can we do next. But none of those things came out of that. Our first ministry was the warming center, and we had 5 men who were very much feeling called to help the homeless and to start a shelter. And so they just came to Spread Hope and had a big presentation, said, can we use this building? And we were using the building for free. We still are. And they said, could we use it just in the winter months? And we prayed about it. One of our main ideas is that we see where God is working and then we join him. And so when someone comes and says, we want to help the homeless, then we think, is that something God would want us to do? Well, that's an easy one. Of course he does. And so we said yes immediately. And the warming center was born.
Yeah. That's a Henry Blackaby quote, I believe,
yes,
from,
it is from
Experiencing God.
Yes.
Yes.
And so the warming center then, Tim, I think you're involved in that now, right?
I'm the co-director of the warming center along with my friend David Overby, who is one of the head folks over at the Senior Nutrition Center. And, I guess we've been doing the Warming Center now, is it 6 years? That's an interesting story. The guys that started that, the 5 guys, we call them, when they came in and got involved with that, they pulled in other people, and that kind of was a growth experience for Spread Hope Now. It just brought in a new collection of people that wanted to serve. What we do with the Warming Center is we open usually at the beginning of December. Occasionally we open in November if it gets really cold. But we're an emergency warming shelter. We're not a permanent homeless shelter. We're just there, as we say, to keep people alive when it's freezing out. And we have a significant homeless population in Sikeston. At the Warming Center, we generally have between 8 and 12 people a night when we're open that stay with us. And then we have other people who come in and they get warm clothing, food. We serve hot meals. Not everybody feels comfortable staying. There are people who have housing, but they don't have heat. There are people that kind of surf from couch to couch, but we're there for all of them. We are open overnight, and we serve people a hot breakfast in the morning when we send them on their way. And we also try to hook them up with other services. So whether that's DAOC or Veterans Administration or Boot Heel Behavioral or Gibson Center or Hope Center Ministries, we connect a lot of people with a lot of different services. And so we're kind of a hub for, we're not just there. It's not just about spending the night and staying warm. It's a hub for other needs.
Yeah, and the Warming Center, I think, is really interesting, John, because the way that they do the partnerships and we talk a lot about partnerships on this podcast, but the way the Warming Center partners with all those organizations that you just mentioned to help not just be a place for someone to come and stay for one night, but to really invest in those people that are staying, that need that warming center, that need that hot meal, but they also need services, and they may not know how to get involved in those services. So I think it's really cool the way that you do that. The other thing that I really like about the warming center, and this may be a little selfish, but that type of ministry gives myself and the church that I pastor the opportunity to serve people that we normally wouldn't get to serve. And so I'm very thankful for that partnership. Talk a little bit about that, how churches or other organizations help when it comes to the warming center.
So that opportunity to serve, that's half of our mission. Half of our mission is the people we serve, and half of our mission is providing a local mission field for people in town who want to serve. We have almost 20 churches that are involved with the warming center. These folks come in and they help us provide meals. They cook, they serve, they help our homeless population with laundry and just with just visiting with them. A lot of these folks, when they're walking the street, it's hard for them to get someone to communicate with them. Just having somebody there for an hour who will sit with them and fellowship and visit, pray, play a game, do whatever, makes a huge difference. And for our volunteers that come in from the churches, it's a really neat opportunity. What we do is we try to open up for a different church each week that we're open. So a church will take the week, and that way their folks don't get burnt out. But it's more than just a one-time mission opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The meals are really good out there.
Yes, they are. We don't
for sure.
It's funny. When I started doing this, I was skinny, and now it's getting hard. It's hard to keep the weight off. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So Mariann, obviously, partnerships and other organizations have helped in a huge way, but you and your team continue to lead out in serving this community, and that continues to expand from Spread Hope Now to the Warming Center, and now you have a couple of other ventures. Share it with us about those things as well.
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, we had a teacher who was teaching high school and very concerned about students who were falling through the cracks. And so it was her vision to open a teen ministry center. And honestly, that seemed very overwhelming to me. My husband and I have been in teen ministry for a long time, but this was just an underserved population of kids that really didn't have a place to go. So we started praying about it and kind of putting out feelers of where that could be. And we were shown a space that's right in the middle of town, right beside the old movie theater, that was empty. And the man lives in St. Louis who owns it and graciously offered to rent it to us for his costs. And so it's 12,000 square feet. If you walk out the back door, you're at the high school. You are right there. And so students can come over after school during the school year, and they can eat as much as they want. They can do some video games. They can have tutors. We now offer jujitsu. We partner with the probation office for kids. And it's incredible to see these kids just open up and be really comfortable. Jill Hobson is the director of that, and she wants kids to come in and kick their shoes off and treat that's their home. And so we have sofas and ping pong tables, and it's just a really great place, lots of energy, and people can volunteer there. And then last year, one of our board members just had a vision, a heart for foster children. And none of us knew, I don't think, that kids were sleeping in the office with caseworkers when they were removed to go into foster care. And I certainly didn't know that, and that broke all of our hearts. And so we began to pray about that, and someone offered to buy us a house. And so that money went straight to buy a house and renovate it. And now kids can come there and get all new clothing, a Bible, storybook, stuffed animals, and lots of love and food, and it eases that trauma. It certainly doesn't take it away, but they can stay there for 3 days with their caseworker while they get their feet under them and they find them a good placement.
Yeah, and that's Journey House, correct?
Right,
Yes.
Journey House. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've heard lots of great things about
it
that.
is so awesome, and to have a little behind the curtain peek. My wife helps serve in that ministry some, and so to hear the care that not only the kids, and I think that's important. The kids are getting care, but also the caseworkers are getting supported and cared for and given a place where they can be comfortable and also be safe. And I know that's another partnership where you have like DPS that helps out in those types of things as well. And so just incredible ministry that you're doing. And I mean, the stories that could be told, we could be here, for days, right? So really great. One of the things that we want to focus on and in the rest of our time, though, is something that we have coming up. It'll probably be just within a week or so after this podcast is released. Okay. And that is, you have Schoolfest coming up. Tell us about Schoolfest, how it got started, and then we'll get into details about this year's Schoolfest.
Okay, well, Schoolfest was a coordinated event by many of the churches in town to provide school supplies for children. And we didn't want to just provide a backpack and hand it over, and there's nothing wrong with that, full of supplies. That'd be great. But we wanted kids to have that personal experience of walking around and saying, I'll take a blue folder, or I'll take a red pencil box, and get to feel like they were really owning their supplies. And so it has grown. We started at the YMCA on the inside, and then we moved to the outside, and now we've moved to Malone Park. And on August 2nd, we'll have 25 churches at this moment and 14 organizations that are helping. And they come, an organization or church will bring a tent and tables, and then they will man that table, and they'll give out one item that they've chosen ahead of time. Maybe it's pencils, depending on your budget, maybe it's folders, and every child will go through and get what they need. And then they will also get a devotional book to start the year with. And our school administration will be there to greet them. Jenny Hoback's always there, and she's a local celebrity as kindergarten principal, knows everybody. And so you'll just hear the kids squealing and excited about their backpacks and what they're getting. And plus they get to meet one-on-one all the people from all the churches who really care about them and support them. And then at the end, my favorite part, we have 4 prayer tents, and Tim helps coordinate that. And kids can come up with their family and get a prayer over them, a prayer blessing for the school year. And many of these kids have never had that. And when we added that, we wondered how well that would be received. But there's not many.
There's very few people who decline.
Right.
Almost everyone says yes, and we join hands, and we pray, and we, it's really very moving.
It is. It's funny to hear grandmas and moms say, "Get up there and let them pray over
Yeah.
you." Right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So that's coming up on August the 2nd.
Yes.
And I know, John, you've been out at Schoolfest too.
It's my favorite things that we help participate in every year. I wouldn't miss it. Look forward to it every year. It's fantastic.
I think if you've not been to Schoolfest, I would say cautiously, I would encourage you to just come out and be a spectator if you wonder about Schoolfest, excuse me, because it is overwhelmingly awesome. You walk out there, and I remember just getting to the park, and the park is filled with people who are serving, people who are preparing things, people who are, from churches and organizations, and then the kids and their families. And everybody's kind of in this one block area. The grills are going, there's people on stage, there's music playing, you have all kinds of things happening. And it is a picture of this is what community is. This
100%.
This is what it means to care for one another in the community. And so as the kids come through, what are some of the things that they are given?
Well, they start with backpacks, and then we have the school supply list for each school. And so based on their age, we'll say, oh, you're in elementary school, so you'll get markers and you'll get crayons. And so the people in those tents will know what they get. And they'll get everything that they need. There's not anything that's not on the list, including Kleenex, and we'll send cleaners, things like that. That really helps the teacher out, because then they don't have to try to supply those things that kids aren't able to bring. And the thing that I always think about that touches my heart the most is, there were children walking into school unprepared, and they see all these children with backpacks ready to go, and they have nothing. And that's changed, and that just doesn't really happen anymore.
And you mentioned something there that I wanted to catch on to as well, and that is how this helps teachers. Because again, I think that's something that maybe we don't think about, but those teachers, because of their love for the kids and what they do, they take the responsibility oftentimes when a kid comes in and doesn't have what they need. They will go buy it out of their own pocket.
Yes.
And I don't know if you're aware or not, but teachers, they don't make a whole lot of money.
Right.
So, for them to be able to not have to worry about that as the community takes care of that, I think is also a great encouragement for them. And I think that's probably why we see them out there.
Right.
So
I think so too. And I also think, you touched on community, but for these kids to see, oh, all these people are here for me. And all these churches, they want to be here and they want to help me. And DPS wants to be here, and I can approach them, and they're handing me socks. And it's just, I think it's life altering. And seeing it all get set up and then all taken down within 2 hours, and it's just kind of a miracle.
yeah, for sure, a miracle. And I think another thing that is really great about that is, I know like our church is handing out, I believe it's ink pens this year, and there's a group of people that will come and serve, and they have the mindset, and I'm sure this is the same way with all the tents, specifically the church tents, that even if the kids aren't asking for prayer at the prayer tent but like as the kids are walking by with their families, I know the people that aren't handing them pens are sitting back in the tent praying for them.
Yes,
just a quick, shotgun prayer of, be with that kid, be with that family, those types of things as they prepare for the school year. And so I guarantee you that every kid and every parent that is there gets prayed for. And then the other part of that, and speak to this a little bit, is because some of those kids have volunteers that walk with them to help get stuff. So talk about those volunteers that will walk with the kids.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see a mom and maybe one of her kids couldn't come. Dad has them this weekend, or they've been at work and they run over and maybe they need 4 backpacks. And so a volunteer can walk through and get to know them and help them carry things. Or it's hard once the backpack gets kind of full. It's hard to keep putting things in it. But we have people who will come and help them do that, and it's an opportunity to talk to them. It takes a bit to get. We've expanded. We started in a fourth of the park, and then a third, and now it's the entire park. So it takes a while to get around.
Yeah, I was wondering, would you even guess how many kids, how many people were in the park that day?
Well, we planned for 1,000 kids, and so then if you add grandmas and aunts and uncles and moms to that, I mean, I'm estimating over 3,000.
Wow!
Yeah,
add the volunteers.
Kind of what I was guessing, but I didn't want to think it was that I was that wrong. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, think about that though. 1,000 kids, they're getting stuff for school. I mean, I don't know what the number of kids in the school system is, but that's a large number of the kids that are in the school system. And so to see that happening is really incredible. Also, in past years, you've had a ministry with jeans. Is that still happening? And tell us about that.
That's still going. People can donate jeans at our donation center anytime we're open. We're open on Wednesdays and Saturdays, 9 to noon, or they can take them to their church, any size. And adults can get them, whoever needs that. And Altrusa comes and gives the kids a new book. They get to pick that out. So there's a lot of opportunities besides just their basic school supplies that they need.
And food, right?
And food, yeah. We'll have all kinds of snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So who would, if somebody's interested in, say, for example, like the warming shelter and volunteering when it turns off cold, volunteering for the warming shelter or anything that they could do at Hope 180 or Spread Hope Now, who would they need to contact?
We have a website at spreadhopenow.org. You can Google Spread Hope Now and find it easily. And there's a form that you can fill out. Of course, if you work at Hope 180 or Journey House with children, there's a background check process. But then we can funnel you into working with Tim. We let people come and meet with Tim. You can kind of tell that process.
We have a need for several different types of volunteers. We always have a need for people who can help us with overnight shifts. And we like to train those people. And that takes a special kind of person, but we're always looking for new folks. And we've got it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So and then as far as our hospitality hour, basically we'll take walk-ins if people want to come by. Even if another church is helping, we'll let people come in and we'll kind of show them the ropes.
So a lot of events that you guys do. Is there opportunities that you guys get because of the events to do follow-up after? Do these type of events, are you seeing them build relationships where you're able to follow up? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, one of the things with the population we serve, we have a lot of people who are either needing recovery or who are in recovery. And they come by, they need things. They need clothes. They need food. And we're able to plug those folks into Gibson Center has their recovery community center here in town now, which is just 2 doors down from our location. So we're really good at getting those people plugged into RCC. Boot Heel Behavioral, same thing. And we're able to arrange appointments for people. We've got a hotline over there, and we can get people right in. Hope Center Ministries, which is a faith-based men's recovery program south of Sykeston. We've funneled quite a few people into that ministry. Dr. Lamonte Calvin has his housing for recovery folks out by Morehouse. Same thing, funnel people there, and so we do it. It's kind of a circle. They and we serve again kind of as a hub for that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So let's just tell us one more time. Schoolfest is August the 2nd. Mm-hmm. What time does it start?
It starts at 8, which is early, 8 to 9:30. But we want to do that before the rodeo parade. And also it's really hot. So we want to make sure that we will have water and that people don't get too overheated.
And so if you want to, if there are people that want to volunteer, they contact the website you mentioned?
Yes, or they can call our Hope line, which is listed there, and they can sign up that way.
Okay. And if people need to be served with Schoolfest, how do they sign up for that?
They don't sign up, they just show up.
Okay.
And it's not restricted to Sikeston. We have a lot of smaller communities with a lot of need. And so anybody can come and they don't have to present documentation. They just come and say, I have a need for school supplies. And it's tremendously expensive. And so, you can be doing all right and still not be able to afford that, especially if you have more than one child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a little bit about
You
that.
do. Yeah. You do. And now there's clear backpacks. And so that's all new. And we've had a church purchase those. But that's, you can't just use the backpack you used last year.
Right. So as we kind of come to a close here, I have one final question, and this may be scary. Okay. This may be a scary question. With everything that you guys have done, what do you see in the future? What are some things on the horizon that you're praying for, that you're hoping for, that maybe you're researching, anything that you may have on the horizon?
Want to go first?
Well, one of the things that we're really aware of is that Sikeston has a need for housing, and what we call workforce housing, as opposed to, we have subsidized housing and we have higher end housing, but the family that's making $60,000 or $70,000 a year and has 4 kids and they're living in rental property where their utilities are out the roof, they need housing too. So we're praying for people in the community to step up and maybe help develop some housing. I think there are some groups that are working on that now, and we're certainly encouraging them to move forward.
Okay.
I think the things that scare me are we definitely are outgrowing Journey House, and we need 2 bathrooms. We need to expand that ministry so that we can meet the needs. We have a lot of teenagers, and we need to meet those needs where we can because that's become so successful. We've had over 60 children come through Journey House in the last year, so that's important. But something that's kind of been brewing is that there are other communities that are saying, why don't we have this in our own town? It's not hard. It just requires a little bit of work from some people. It doesn't require one person to shoulder the burden. And so I'm always amazed at how simple it's been to coordinate and just to bring people together to serve. And so, and it's Tim talked about it a little bit, but I hope that we can have more opportunities for volunteers to serve, because there's a lot of people who aren't feeling like they have purpose or meaning. And especially we help people who are in grief, and they come in and they serve. They give some of their items away that were difficult to take out of their home, and they see kind of new life spring up through that, and we watch them change. And so those are just kind of some of the things that I think about. Great.
Anything else?
I could just comment on that, the serving aspect. Chief has always been really big and, participating in different events, and sometimes you're voluntoed and sometimes you volunteer.
Right.
Maybe one of those events.
It kind of works that way, SpreadHOPE too.
Maybe one of those events is on a Saturday or something. It's been a long week and I'm like, man, I think I'm going to pass on this one. But for whatever reason, I end up going and participating and volunteering. And I'm going to tell you, it fills your cup. I think I mentioned that before. Using Schoolfest for example, just going there and helping people, and it just really, it fills your cup. And so I think if people are on the fence about volunteering, like at SpreadHOPE now, you should do it, because I promise you it is very rewarding, very, very fulfilling.
Well,
for sure.
And we have a lot of fun too.
Absolutely.
So come on out and join in the fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here, and we're very thankful for the way that you serve the community. We're thankful to be a part, get to help, get to join in with what you're doing, and we want to encourage you, keep up the good work, keep pressing on, and Sikeston is better because you're here and you're serving. Thank you guys so much.
For sure.
Thank you for tuning in to Chief, Cap, and Chap. We miss Chief today. He's left the building right before we started recording, and he left us.
It's kind of like Elvis.
He has left the building. He shaved his beard and left the building.
I'm glad to see the beard gone.
It's all right. Well, that's John Broom, Captain John Broom.
Clean shaven.
I don't know.
Well,
5 o'clock
in comparison to you.
Thank you so much. Make sure to email us, chief.cap.chap gmail.com. We'd love to hear your comments, any show ideas that you may have, questions that you may have that we could answer. And until next time, remember,
Take the high road.
always take the high road. See ya.